Hey guys, this is Genesis, the original support, and today's jungling video is with Zac. He's an interesting champion, and that's putting it mildly. Zac saw a lot of gameplay in Season 3, and a little bit of gameplay in Season 4. And just the way that he's put together, I mean, aside from the fact that he's a big blob of goo, but his kit is very interesting. And because he thrives most on having a lot of health and being incredibly disruptive in team fights.
There's plenty of room going on.
Oh boy. So I've probably mismanaged this a bit. Okay, so if you're jungling, you probably don't want to have your passive get smacked like that. And I need to leave, because I'm not going to take that. Probably would have been fine if I'd had a leash for the first jungle camp. I wouldn't have had to take that much damage. But you've noticed me walking around, picking up these little bloblets, and you're probably wondering, okay, so what's the deal with that, Genesis? Why are you doing that? Very simple reason is those little blobs restore my health if I pick them up. So every time that Zac uses an ability, he dislodges one of those chunks from his body. And that, in and of itself, that's not a bad thing, but you have to be careful, in team fights especially. Or if you're in a 2v1 situation, let's say you take Zac into top lane, you got to be careful about picking up those blobs, because if you don't, and you keep getting chunked down, you're going to end up taking a lot of damage that you could probably heal back if you just pick up the blobs. So some people will look at this and say, oh dude, Genesis, you suck, you couldn't take the blue buff the first time. Well, yeah, there's a reason for that. It's called not having a leash. I mean, jungling without a leash, it's difficult with some champions. So that's why in the new jungle, a lot of people decided to take champions with a heck of a lot more sustain. Pantheon was one. Jarvan the Fourth was another one. Let's see, Vi suddenly became a very good pick in the jungle. After a lot of people said, oh, we need champions that can take an abuse and dish out a lot of punishment. Zac is not one of those champions, which is why a lot of people just didn't really want to pick him until the new changes. That didn't hit anything. That's unfortunate. What? And there's no blob. Don't want to use that one, but oh well. But with the new changes to the jungle, and also to the ways that...
Why, thanks. I do work out.
Well, I need to collect my thoughts here. So, in the new jungle... Actually, I don't want to do that. I want to go back and get a ruby crystal. But the newest patch, which changed the Juggernaut enchantment to the Cinder Hulk, it's made junglers like Zac suddenly much more attractive. And because of the way that Zac functions, okay, he's got a hard engage with his E. He's got some area of effect damage from his W. His Q is a skill shot. And his ultimate, which I'll show you guys when I can, his ultimate is so incredibly disruptive in team fights. I just bounce around the entire back line. He disrupts their skills and abilities, and you just become a major annoyance. Zac was used in the European LCS this past weekend, which makes him all of a sudden now that much more attractive to the European junglers. It would be crazy if people said, "Oh, Zac is no good as a jungler," and refused to try and learn him. You know, that's simply not true. Now, Zac may not do very good at controlling vision, say like a max consume Nunu would, but he does very well with ganks. Yeah, the only reason I came to this lane was so that I could pick up the cannon menu and a few other things.
Fighting is in my blood.
So I'm going to
Don't be so.
just get the lane pushing in my favor here. I mean, let's say that my mid laner and the enemy mid laner had gone back. You know, I'd want to.
Mom always said I was big for my age.
Here's one of the other things that makes Zac so much fun and useful. He could actually avoid wards, like so. One thing to note is that Zac can very easily help set up for the dragons. So let's say I had 2 wards. I'd probably stick another one right here. You see, and I've placed my 1 vision trinket already. And I've got a cooldown on my E, and get into the pit very quickly here. And I use my smite early because I don't have any help from my team members. So I gotta do a lot of the work myself. But I have my 2nd smite. And the one reason that I'm showing off how to ward for the dragon is because I feel like a lot of people ignore that very, very crucial aspect, taking the dragon. You guys, you have got to make sure that you don't get jumped on in the pit, especially if, like me, you're trying to take the dragon solo. And yeah, I used my smite early there. Didn't really matter. Yeah, I mean, again, I have no help. The enemy team is not coming, so you can get away with things like that. But that's one thing that so many people seem to forget about taking the dragon is you gotta have vision. I'm not gonna get it this time either. That is so annoying. But yeah, prepping the dragon pit by getting vision on it is so huge. Especially if you're playing as Zac, because you don't have a lot of wave clear, you don't have a lot of damage output. And these new tank junglers, I mean, they're great in team fights. And they're great for being a big, beefy, meaty front line to protect your carries. But they're not going to have a huge amount of damage output. Now, the new build path for items like the Stalker's Blade Cinderhulk, yeah, it's going to help with camp clear. I probably could have gotten a Devourer, but I don't think that's going to be necessary. Okay, so I need to show you Zac's ult here, so that you guys can get an understanding for how disruptive it is. Not sure if I'll take it on... Yeah, let's take it on walls. Okay, so... Yeah, I mean, Zac is fun. Zac is fun. Also, something else to note is that the more health he has, the more max health he has, the bigger he gets. So that's always fun. So, yeah. Prepping the dragon with vision is going to help tremendously in securing that objective. It's the same thing with the Baron. I mean, vision wins games. Bottom line. Also, one neat thing about Zac is that, kind of like Lee Sin and Kha'Zix, is that he can get around the jungle fairly quickly. And he can be in place for ganks a little faster than maybe some other jungle champions out there. So I'm going to go ahead and go back. I want to see what else I can pick up here. It should probably be a pair of boots. I won't get anything else on it right now. I'll probably go ahead and start snagging... I'll go ahead and snag a ruby crystal and start building a sunfire cape. And let's say I want to be cautious, so I'll just go ahead and pick up another potion and a ward. So, reasons to pick up Zac and use him in the jungle. But kind of like what you guys saw with Shen when I posted that video, and also I'm trying to get a Sejuani video put together here. I just haven't had the time. He's incredibly disruptive in team fights using his ult, using his E. He has some AoE damage, both from items that you can build on him and also his W. And he's going to soak up damage. His passive makes him incredibly annoying to kill. And he fits right in with the current meta where tank junglers are now an absolute necessity, just because of the way that even professional teams are starting to build their team comps. Like and subscribe, and leave your comments, suggestions, and requests. I've got YouTube, I've also got Twitter and Facebook. This is Genesis, the original support. Best of luck in your next match. Have a great day.